Hello student, today we studied about the measure of dispersion. In previous class we have seen that there are three ways to describe a data. The first way is the measure of center tendency which we have already studied. The second way is measure of spread or dispersion, and the third way is measure of symmetricity. So today we will study in detail about the measure of dispersion. So let's see what is this measure of dispersion. Measure of dispersion is used to describe the variability in a sample or population. Means it is used to see whether the data points are close to each other or it is far away from each other, or whether it is close to the mean or it is far away from the mean. Like for example, I have this two data set, the data set A and data set B. So what do you think? In which data set the data points are more spread? Yeah, correct, you are right. In dataset B, the data points are more spread because as you have seen, if you consider the representative value for this, then you know that mean is the representative value for the data set. So, like if this is the mean, then you can see that the data points are far away from the mean is compared to the data set A in which like if this is the mean, then the points are close to the mean. So here you can see the points are far away from the mean. So here the variability is greater than the data set A. So in this case you can see the more variability. Now let us see through which ways we can measure the spread or dispersion. So the first important thing is to calculate standard deviation. Standard deviation is used most of the time in order to find a dispersion. So what is this standard deviation? Standard deviation is the measurement of average distance between each point and mean. So it calculates that how much far away my each data point is from the mean. मतलब ये कि मीन से ये हर एक डेटा पॉइंट्स कितना डिस्टेंस में है. जैसे कि ये हमारा मीन है, तो ये हर एक डेटा पॉइंट से इसका क्या डिस्टेंस है, तो ये एवरेज डिस्टेंस कैलकुलेट करने में हमारी हेल्प करता है स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन कि मीन से हर एक डेटा पॉइंट का एवरेज डिस्टेंस क्या है. तो इस केस में हम क्या करते हैं कि पहले हम डेटा पॉइंट्स का मीन कैलकुलेट करते हैं, उसके बाद हम उसका हर एक डेटा पॉइंट्स के साथ, जैसे ये एक डेटा पॉइंट है इसके साथ हम डिस्टेंस कैलकुलेट करेंगे, फिर एक डेटा पॉइंट है तो इसके साथ भी हम डिस्टेंस कैलकुलेट करेंगे. इसी तरह हम सारे डेटा पॉइंट के साथ हम इसका डिस्टेंस कैलकुलेट करते हैं. उसके बाद हम उसका स्क्वायर करते हैं और स्क्वायर करने के बाद हम उसको ऐड कर देते हैं, यानी उसका समेशन ले लेते हैं. और समेशन लेने के बाद हम उसको टोटल नंबर ऑफ डेटा पॉइंट से डिवाइड करके देन हम उसका स्क्वायर रूट ले लेते हैं. तो इस तरह हम इजिली स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं. नाउ what is the formula for standard deviation of a sample? So there is not much difference in this formula of standard deviation of population and standard deviation of sample. Only what you have to do, you only just have to subtract -1 from this total number of observation, and here instead of population mean you have to take sample mean. So this is the only difference in formula of standard deviation of sample and standard deviation of population. Now come to the steps of how to find out the standard deviation for a given data set. So the first step is to find a mean. We have to find a mean first, जैसे कि हमें इसका एवरेज पहले निकालना है. उसके बाद the second step is find deviation of each point from mean. उसके बाद हमें उसका डेविएशन निकालना है, मतलब उसका डिस्टेंस निकालना हर एक डेटा पॉइंट का मीन के साथ. तो जैसे कि हमने यहाँ देखा है, ये हमारा मीन है और ये हर एक डेटा पॉइंट है, तो हर एक डेटा पॉइंट के साथ हम मीन का डिस्टेंस कैलकुलेट करेंगे. उसके बाद तो हम हर एक डेटा पॉइंट्स का डिस्टेंस कैलकुलेट कर लेंगे मीन के साथ, देन हम सबका स्क्वायर कर देंगे. स्क्वायर करना ये हमारा थर्ड स्टेप है. एंड द फोर्थ स्टेप is to add all the square deviation. जितना भी हमने स्क्वायर डिस्टेंस लिया है उसको हम ऐड करेंगे, उसका हम समेशन लेंगे. After doing the summation we divide it with the total number of observation, that is total number of data points whatever the data points we have, we will divide this with the summation of all square deviation, and after this the last step is to find square root of it, और end में हम सबका square root ले लेंगे. So as you have seen, the first step is to find the mean and then to find the deviation, that is from each data point you have to find the deviation, and then you have to calculate the square of each deviation, and then you have to do the summation, and after that you have to divide this with the total number of observation, and then you have to take a square root for this, and in this way you will easily calculate the standard deviation for a particular data set. Now if you are using Excel, then you have to know that what you are calculating. If you are calculating the population standard deviation, then you have to write the formula in Excel std dot p, because the Excel by default take the formula of sample standard deviation. So you have to write, if you are particularly taking the standard deviation for the population, then you have to write the formula for standard deviation of population. So now guys, did you think why I have taken the square root at the end? Why not I have taken this absolute value? So let's understand this in detail. So the answer for this question is square root gives more importance to the point which are far away from the mean. ऐसा point जो outlier है, जो extrinsic value है, that is very far away from the mean, square root उसको ज़्यादा importance देता है. While in the case of absolute, you see that it will not give importance to the extrinsic value. So let's understand this with the help of example. Suppose this is a series. Here first we have calculated mean. As you all know the steps of standard deviation, we have calculated the mean. Then we have calculated the distance from each point with mean. So as you all know that when we calculate the distance, like if this is our data set and this is the data point, and suppose if this is our mean, so suppose this is the distance for this data point, like if like this is data point x1, this is mu, and this is data point x2. So what do you think? The xi minus mu. So the distance between xi minus mu will be positive, isn't it? Because here xi is having the higher value than mu. So xi minus mu will be positive. But in the case of x2, like mu x2 minus mu, it will be negative. Why it will be negative? Because here you are subtracting lower value with higher value. So it will be negative. So here you have seen we have done the same thing. We have calculated the distance from each point with mean, and this is the value. So it looks like it will nullify each other, isn't it? So here the result is 0 because the each point nullify each other. Now come to the square distance. In the case of square distance, we have done the same thing. We have calculated the distance. After calculating the distance, we have taken the square, and after taking the square of each distance, then we have add all the distance. After adding all the distance, we are dividing this with the total number of observation. So this is our value. And after this we are taking the square root. So this is the standard deviation in the case of square root. So now when we will take the point contribution for this absolute value and then we plot this in a chart, then we will see the two types of graph. First is parabola and second is exponential graph. So this exponential graph is a graph of point distribution of absolute, while this parabola graph is the graph of point distribution of square distance. So here you have seen that in the case of square distance, it gives more importance to the extrinsic value, that is the value which is far away from the mean. While in the case of point contribution for absolute, which is shown by this exponential curve, you will see that this curve is not touching the extrinsic value, that is the value which is far away from the mean. This is the reason why we are taking square root in the case of standard deviation and not absolute. Now come to the second way of measure of spread. So the second way of measure of spread is variance. Variance is very simple. It is only the square of standard deviation. So if you have standard deviation, then just do the square of it, then you will get the variance. So there are two type of variance: population variance and sample variance. Formula also you will see that it is same. As you see, in the case of standard deviation, the formula is 1 by n in the case of population standard deviation and the population, and for the sample standard deviation the formula is 1 by total number of observation minus 1. So here also it is same, only the difference is that here you will see the square, that is here you will not see the square root in both the cases. Now come to this range. The formula for range is maximum minus minimum. So it is very easy to calculate. So when to calculate range? Suppose if you have a series like this, in which you have series data points which are close to each other. Here you can see like data points 2, 2, 2, or you can see all these data points are close to each other. Only one data point, like this is 80, it is very far away from this. So if you will calculate standard deviation, then it will be like a waste of time and you will not get the exact spread. Because of the reason, because here you can see it is almost close to each other. So if you have series like this in which the data sets are close, some data points are close to each other while you have some extrinsic value, then the best measure in that case is that you will calculate range if you want to find the measure of spread. Now the fourth way of calculating the spread is IQR. The full form of IQR is interquartile range. This is the range. It's the value that divides your data into quarters. ये आपके डेटा को क्वार्टर्स में डिवाइड करता है. इसका फॉर्मूला क्या होता है? Q3 माइनस Q1. आप लोगों ने 5 पॉइंट समरी के बारे में सुना होगा. Let's see what is this 5 point summary. Suppose if this is our data set. So ये अगर हमारा डेटा सेट है तो हमारा मिड पॉइंट जो होता है ये हमारा मीडियन कहलाता है. एज यू ऑल नो, हमारा सेंटर पॉइंट मीडियन कहलाता है. तो ये सेंटर पॉइंट जो मीडियन कहलाता है इसे हम Q2 भी कहते हैं. अब हम अगर इसके लेफ्ट साइड की सीरीज को देखें तो लेफ्ट साइड की सीरीज को अगर हम इसका मीडियन निकालें, देन दैट मीडियन इज कॉल्ड Q1. ये Q1 कहलाता है. नाउ अगर हम इसके राइट साइड की सीरीज को देखें, सिर्फ इस पार्ट को कंसिडर करें और हम इसका मीडियन निकालें, so this median is called Q3. So this Q3 is a point in which the 75% of the data is below this point and 25% of the data is above this point. While in the case of Q1, 25% of the data is below this point and 75% of the data is above this point. While in the case of Q2, 50% of the data is on the left hand side and 50% of the data is on right hand side. We can understand this with the help of one example also. So suppose this is a series. So what will be our median? Yes, this will be our median. So this will be our Q2. अब हम इसका मीडियन निकालेंगे. तो इसका मीडियन क्या हुआ हमारा? इसका सेंटर पॉइंट क्या है? 1 है. तो ये हमारा Q1 कहलाया. अब हम राइट साइड का मीडियन निकालेंगे. तो राइट साइड का मीडियन हमारा क्या हुआ? या 5 हमारा मीडियन हुआ. तो ये हमारा Q3 कहलाएगा. तो ये हमारा 50% डेटा हमारा इस बीच में लाई करेगा और 25% डेटा हमारा यहाँ होगा और 25% डेटा हमारा यहाँ होगा. तो ये हमारा मीडियन कहलाता है. और Q3 माइनस Q1 अगर हम निकालेंगे, मतलब 5 माइनस अगर हम 1 करेंगे विच इज इक्वल्स टू 4, तो ये हमारा IQR कहलाएगा. Now when to use this IQR? If you have a data set in which you have extrinsic value or outlier in both the end. In both the end means आपके लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में भी हो और राइट हैंड साइड में भी हो. In that case you will consider the middle portion of the data. Middle portion, that is 50% of the data. You will not consider this 25% and you will not consider this 25% which is above Q3 and which is below Q1. You will only consider this 50% data in the case if you have extrinsic value on both the end. So thank you student, and if you like my video then please like and subscribe my channel, and meet you in the next video. Thank you.